Palm Beach County School Board meeting heating up this afternoon. A speaker tossed out of the meeting, then tossed into a police car.
That meeting underway right now. The board is deciding whether to take legal action against the governor's executive ban on mask mandates in schools. CBS 12's Lexi Null is live at school district headquarters with what's happening now. Lexi?
Liz, Jim, this meeting is still ongoing as we speak, and so far, nearly every moment has been tense. About 5 minutes into the school board meeting, the first person was thrown out for shouting at the school board, and about 10 minutes later, someone was arrested.
And because I chose to speak, I'm now being arrested.
A confrontation with district police escalated at today's school board meeting when this man refused to sit down despite stern warnings from school board members calling for order.
So let me make this perfectly clear. If you say or do anything obscene or vulgar, I will direct school police to remove you immediately. This is your warning. Do not engage in this behavior because you will be removed.
Despite the colorful distractions, this meeting did continue as dozens of passionate parents took to the podium speaking out against the district's mask mandate.
And we demand you end this mask mandate. You work for we the people.
Some said their children have been bullied for refusing to comply.
They are being harassed, bullied, and deemed as a threat.
The Palm Beach County School District is just one of several across the state defying the governor's order and enforcing mask mandates in public schools. Last week, the Florida Department of Education sent warning letters to Broward and Alachua counties, ordering them to comply with the governor's order or face consequences. Those districts now risk losing state funding, but board members say they're willing to defy the order for the safety of Palm Beach County students.
These are polarizing issues, but at the end of the day, protecting children is not polarizing. It's just the right thing to do.
Well, public comment is still going on right now, but board members are expected to decide later tonight whether or not to challenge Governor DeSantis's controversial ban on mask mandates in court. We'll have more on that at 6 o'clock, plus more colorful comment and confrontation.
We begin with the latest on the coronavirus crisis and the emotional toll on our local healthcare workers.
Our Denise Sawyer has more on the health treatments medical workers are now seeking.
It's a heartbreaking confession in the front seat of her car. This ICU nurse breaks down.
Mom, why didn't you save them? I cannot even explain how that feels as a nurse and as a mom.
Felicia Croft pours out emotional grief as she describes what it's like to watch COVID patients die slowly and painfully. Social media has become a sounding board. On Twitter, ICU nurse Catherine Ivey poured out her heart in a thread that soon went viral. She wrote, "It is so much worse this time. We all have so much less to give. We are all still bearing the fresh and heavy grief of the last year and trying to find somewhere to put all this anger. But the patients don't stop coming, and the anger doesn't stop coming." At Cleveland Clinic Martin Health, clinicians are seeing patients pass away at what can feel like an extreme rate.
I have seen too many patients die, especially over the last few days, and me and my nurses, we have held the hands of dying patients. I have had to console teenagers who have lost their mom and their dad. It's painful for me. It is painful for the caregivers that I work alongside every day.
Managing those emotions can be difficult. So this week, Cleveland Clinic has brought in a grief counselor.
We have brought in counselors that have met one-on-one with our caregivers. We actually have a group session for our caregivers.
Therapist Shantae Thompson.
I say hope takes us far, right? So not to lose hope and taking time to rejuvenate, to recoup, to get back to a place of feeling like you can continue pouring into others.
Now, Thompson goes on to say that family members of these first responders should make sure that these doctors and nurses are coming home to a very safe, carefree environment. For more ways on dealing with grief, head over to our website, cbs12.com, for more information.
Well, the Boy Scouts may have no choice but to sell a property over in Sebastian, that unless they can raise more than $1 million.
That has some parents whose children are in scouting very upset. CBS 12's Al Peffley has more on why the Scouts may have to sell this valuable piece of property.
Since 1953, the Boy Scouts have owned Camp Oklawaha, a pristine wilderness. But soon they may have to put this up for sale, a possibility no one here likes.
The pond has always been this crystal clear. Like you can't really find this anywhere else.
Ken Leadham, a parent of 3 sons who are Cub Scouts, has fond memories of swimming in this pond at Camp Oklawaha in Sebastian when he was a Cub Scout at age 6 or 7. Now, decades later, he's saddened to learn that the Boy Scouts are considering selling this 60-acre camp. What do you think of the idea of possibly selling this camp?
I don't like it at all. If this camp gets sold, there isn't another camp like this. We can't find property like this.
Camp Oklawaha is a rustic place used by Scouts from around the state for nearly 40 weekends each year. It has a covered pavilion, a pond for swimming, a river for canoeing and fishing, and it has acres and acres of woods for hiking, camping, and exploring.
It's primitive, right? You're out in real Florida. You know, these are 200-year-old scrub forests, and it's just fantastic to be in.
Peter Turner is an Eagle Scout who remembers camping here as a child, and he now has a son in scouting. To sell this camp, he says, would be a mistake.
So that would be a huge loss to not only our local community, but the extended scouting community.
The Gulfstream Council of Boy Scouts of America owns the camp, and they may have to sell it to raise $1.1 million that they need to contribute to a $500 million nationwide fund by the end of the year to compensate Scouts who were victims of sexual abuse over several decades. They either will need to get the money from generous donors or sell the camp.
It'd be devastating to the Scouts. It's used a lot.
I think it would be a huge loss. It really is a fantastic asset for the kids. It's very rare that you can have kids come here and just be kids out in the open in a completely safe environment.
They say Camp Oklawaha is the only Boy Scout camp between Orlando and Tequesta, and it fills a vital need for Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts.
The Boy Scouts have been around serving our community for over 100 years in this part of Florida, and we just really need the community support to make this happen right now.
One parent says rather than selling this camp, they haven't ruled out other options like car washes or setting up a GoFundMe campaign, whatever they can to raise the $1.1 million.